Hey y'all, it's the NFT Roundtable. This is a new podcast produced by Black NFT Art, and today I'm talking to Oshea, a digital artist who has had recent success in the NFT space. What's up, Andre? How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How's your day been?
Full of phone calls and conversations. I am trying to finish a project right now, and then that's been how my day is going. That was not the best answer.
That's fine. Sounds like a busy day.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got to connect with some people and also get some work done. So that sounds like a good day.
Yes. A productive day, I will say that.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's just get right into it. So you have been doing digital art for some years now, and you recently joined the NFT space a few weeks ago, and you've been having some success. So how does it feel?
Yeah, I feel really great right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's been very rewarding to see people appreciate you for your art and not just what you do as a service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such an interesting. I find it really interesting how so many digital artists are now being able to see what it feels like to sell your artwork like directly to a consumer as opposed to like a company or for a commission project. How does it feel to have people pay you like thousands of dollars for your art?
Kind of surreal. So I feel like I've wanted to be an artist my entire life. I've been an artist my entire life, and when you pay attention to art history and you know the worth that like premier generational artists make, it's kind of almost like a dream to you to be valued in the same respect. And I would grow up and I would talk to my grandma, we're driving in the car or something like that, and we drive past the museum and I go, Grandma, I'm about to sell a painting to that museum for $2.8 million. Just watch. And she'd be like, no, you're not. Shut up. And I was like, yeah, no, watch. I am. And as I grew as an artist, I transitioned more into a digital medium, and there wasn't that same opportunity for your work to be valued by like museums or galleries. What you could do is create like immersive 3D exhibits or something like that. But those weren't long-term projects. Those would be, limited time showings, and maybe you get to tour it or something like that. And that would be awesome. But, you don't get cemented into art history the same way that a traditional painting would. So being able to sell my art at a price, and I know that is going to be placed in like art history books and cemented. The history of all my work is cemented now because of blockchain. It's all, the history of the piece travels with it, and it is actually a part of the art as well. So creating that future it's a surreal feeling.
Yeah. That's really awesome. So how have NFTs changed your creative process and even maybe your goals as an artist?
So I would say I'm still developing new goals. I feel like the space is so new. I'm still learning what the goals can be achieved, excuse me. But as far as my workflow is dramatically changed it because I feel like I'm far more focused on what I feel as an artist and where my mind goes as an artist, and focused on the stories that I want to tell rather than the stories that I have to tell for a client, or the stories that I have to tell because I'm looking for a client, or I have to pitch these ideas that I may not even fully present or I may not fully agree with that direction. Now I get to dictate where I want to go as an artist. Mm-hmm. Are these? Yeah. The sun rays like really bright on my face?
It is.
Should I shut
It's nice though. I don't think so. I think it's.
Okay. I don't know if it's like distracting or not, but
no,
all right, I'll leave it.
Distracting, not to me. So walk us through your first NFT until now, and like what the kind of like not each one by one, but like what was kind of your thought process and your experience going from your first NFT till the last few that you've been dropping?
Okay, so I would say my NFT journey officially started in October 2020. I had been hearing about this space probably for a few months. A lot of people were trying to introduce me to the scene, but there wasn't a lot of vocabulary for what was happening.
Yeah.
But eventually I started seeing more people in my community get engaged with NFTs and minting their pieces. And I decided to just like mint 2 pieces on Rarible just to see how the process worked. And I was kind of confused and overwhelmed by the process. So I decided to sort of take a backseat and watch how things were moving and how things were unfolding. So we fast forward to February, and I'm just posting online pretty consistently, posting my work, and I post a piece that had a PlayStation in it, and it was like this weird video game-y looking world, and the PlayStation looked like some sort of like sci-fi building in the distance or whatever. And a friend of mine, his name is Nicky Chulo, he reached out to me, he said, dude, we got to get you minting. I don't know why you're not minting yet. And I said, I'm waiting to learn more, and I want to see a community of Black artists really come together, because I've been just noticing that people can kind of click up in this space, and that some of that was starting to happen. And he said, dude, like, I know where all of these things are. And he just started introducing me to people and introducing me to group chats and sorry. And he just started introducing me to people and introducing me to group chats. And I just started posting work more consistently. I minted my first piece that same day. And it didn't sell for 18 days. It was terrible. I had no idea why. I was so hurt because I felt like I was getting so much positive feedback from the community about me wanting to mint. I was like, oh, I'm for sure going to get some bids. I was like, oh, this is going to be this is going to be easy, but I'm coming from a very engaged audience and a decently sized platform. And it didn't sell for 18 days. And I was just so confused. And during that time, I just started really tapping into the community. I started going to clubhouse rooms. I started joining even more group chats. I started making more direct friendships with people. I started collaborating more with artists. And it was just a matter of time. That first piece sold, and then it felt like, it felt like you had broke through the wall almost, and everything felt so open. Once I sold my first pieces, I think I sold one night, and I was really excited. And I think I sold it for like 0.3 ETH, and I was like, this is amazing. And then the next day I sold 2 more, and I think those two only totaled to like 0.2 ETH or something like that. And I was excited. I was like so over the moon. And I was like, I was waiting on payment from this record label. And I was like, oh, this is like $700. I'm not going to like stress about client work. This $700 is going to basically push me until I get this big check from the label. And I was like, I'm not going to mint any more pieces till I get that check. Everything's going to be fine. Right. And I think this is right around the time that I actually met you, Iris, and it was you and my girlfriend. You're like, dude, shut up. Dude, just mint another piece. Like, shut up. Yeah. And I minted 2 pieces, and one of them sold for like 0.7 ETH, and one of them sold for 1 ETH. And there was like a mini bidding war, like not a huge one. It was a few bids, but I was like, dude, how? Everything just is shattered. I felt like I sold like five NFTs in like a week or something like that, and I really just haven't looked back since. I've released 6 more since that time, and they have all sold out.
And now you're selling for minimum 1 ETH.
Yes.
Right, and your last piece sold for 4.5 ETH.
yes, and that one had like 11 total bids. It was a crazy feeling. I was picking up some food from just like Grubhub or whatever. Well, Grubhub, they would deliver it, but I was picking it up, and I'm in the parking lot as my piece is counting down. And all of a sudden, there just becomes a bidding war. I'm sitting in the parking lot for like an hour and a half, like staring at my phone, trying to keep up with all the bidding. Like, people were bidding faster than I could even tweet that they were new bids. It was, I'm going to say it again, but it was surreal.
Yeah, I remember that day, because I don't know what I was doing, but I wasn't really paying attention to my phone. And you texted me, and you were like, yo, there's a bidding war on my piece. And I luckily saw it in time, because I think there may have been like less than 20 minutes left or something like that.
Yeah.
And so then I started tweeting, and I know other people started tweeting. And then every time someone else bid, it added another like 10 minutes or so to the countdown.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was really exciting.
My highlight so far. That, and actually collecting like my first piece, there was a little bit more, and that was like the day before this happened, I think, or the day after, something like that. But also a rush.
Yeah, I'm gonna for our video viewers, since we're gonna post this episode to YouTube, I'm actually gonna share my screen and go to your foundation page real quick, so that
okay.
So that people can see some of your pieces. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's see.
What do we got here?
All right. So Wild Ridge Mountain is the one that sold for the 4.5 ETH. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Wild Ridge Mountain Night sold for 4.5, and then Wild Ridge Mountain Day sold for 1. Did you think that one would be liked or valued so much higher than the other, or did you go into it being like, I don't know which one people are gonna like the most?
I was curious. I would say that, looking back at it in hindsight, I would assume that it would be the nighttime one that people like. I just feel like that kind of resonates with people in this space. I just think that the nighttime one, kind of like looking back at it, was like a no-brainer. I was curious to see what would happen with the daytime one, because the nighttime one went to bid first, and I was curious to see if they would have the same collector. I was talking to the collector of night, and he wanted to go after day, but he didn't want to step on, his name is Justin. He didn't want to step on Justin's feet, who bid on day. He wanted to sort of share this piece amongst collectors.
Okay, so part of what you've been doing with your latest set of, these are 8 pieces, is you have a side A and a side B, or like 2 versions of the same piece. Can you talk about why you choose to do it that way?
So when you work in with 3D art, you have you use what's called a camera, and you use it just like you would a regular camera on a film set. But you get to see so many different dynamic views and angles just in the creative process. And for me, while I'm working on a piece, I get a lot of different perspective from the piece. And by moving my camera, I get to change my perspective, whether it's like first person or third person. And to a certain extent, I feel like if I were to only post one version, I'm robbing people of multiple perspectives of this scene. I feel like, you know, a lot of times, artists, they only like are able to show you one aspect of their piece. But I think one of the benefits to 3D art is I can move you around the scene, and we can show you things from different perspectives. We can change things like texture, the time of day, and this and that. And it's not really a foundational change, if that makes sense. Like, for instance, if I wanted a side A and a side B to a painting, I would have to paint 2 completely different paintings.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like I am trying to use my freedom and opportunity as a 3D artist to highlight different perspectives that art can offer. And so a lot of them, if you look at them, one of the cameras is pulled back, and that is supposed to give you a like a third, like an omniscient view of the scene. And a lot of them are zoomed in to give you almost like a first person or like firsthand experience. Like, I am the active person in this moment. I am living through this scene.
Okay. That's really cool. I haven't really seen other people doing that in the space. I think that's a really unique thing that you bring to the NFT space with your artwork. And I think, and I love the fact that it's like with the zoomed out view, there's elements that you can see that you couldn't see before, which just shows that like there's actually so much more to this world that you've created than what is just in the like the actual box, the actual image, right? That
exactly
see that like behind the scenes you're working with so much more.
Yeah, and you know what they say, what you walk a mile in someone else's shoes, you see things different. You know, that's just kind of how I feel about like 3D and moving. You can walk in a different pair of shoes and see the scene completely different.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about who you are as an artist, and you know what kind of art you create in general, and like what you were doing before NFTs.
Well, my bio on Twitter says that I am a 3D animator focused on building the future, and I make art for people who want to escape reality and, you know, build that future with me. So what I'm focused on, like, as an artist is sort of dismantling old ideas, maintaining relatable feelings, and trying to teach and lead people into a more idealistic world, you know, whether that be through creativity, beauty, spirituality. That is sort of where I try to take people with my art, take them to sort of surreal places and building a world around them that feels lived in, that they can, you know, what it could be, you know, thoughts laid deep in their subconscious, but I'm trying to pull those out of you. I'm trying to, you know, for lack of a better word, like trigger your responses, you know, whether it be one thing I've been using a lot recently are mailboxes in my work. And I just think that there's something that everybody has seen and they can relate to, and like most likely have some sort of relationship with a mailbox in their life, whether they were have like shipping things for their own business, or like their grandma used to take them to the post office, or whatever it may be. Like it's a thing that is prevalent, and it grounds things in reality while also, you know, allowing you to take something to a new reality because it is grounded in the one that we live in now.
That is that's really dope. I think that world building is so interesting. And you know, there's worlds that are just like radically different that I've seen from artists, and then there's worlds that are just like, it looks like our world, but it just looks really nice.
Yeah.
Like a really fancy house on like
yeah,
mansion on the
super modern houses. Those were
the super modern houses, and I'm like, this is beautiful, but it just feels so. It just feels like I've seen this before, you know, like in a movie or something. Tell us about like how you became an artist.
I don't know. I was just
a professional artist. I mean.
Well, I was just at a point, you know, I'd always been sort of working towards a creative career, even while I was working, you know, odd jobs throughout, you know, my 20s and teens. I'd always been in the back working, you know, to be a full-time creative, whether that be designing or being a DJ or producing music. Excuse me. And it got to, you know, this point where I had been fired from my job. And I was in a living situation where I felt like my growth was limited. And me and my girlfriend, we decided to make a change, and we moved down to Atlanta, and we just said to ourselves, you know, if we're going to make this move, we're going to, you know, take the bet on ourselves and, you know, see where we can take this working for ourselves. And I had a background in art and design, and I just said, I'm going to be a graphic designer full time. And from being a DJ and a music producer, I knew a lot of artists who needed album art. So I just started doing album art for my friends, and, you know, charging like, you know, everybody has a story, you know, I charged $30 for my first album art or something like that. And, you know, I just slowly grew from there. I was being very active online, establishing myself as a communal voice, and providing spaces for artists to express what it's like for them to be an artist, and not just like express the feelings that they have through their art, but like talk about their experiences, you know, talk about the advice that they've gained, or, you know, the advice that they would share or something like that. And throughout this process, I was introduced to 3D art, and I've, you know, become a full-time 3D animator, and not just a motion designer or a graphic designer. Now I focus on 3D animation pretty exclusively. And I'd say we're about 5 years later, and now I'm focusing on creating NFTs.
One of the things you mentioned is that you just like not into commission work right now. Talk about that, and how different it feels when you think about commission work versus before.
Yeah, so what happened to me when, you know, I mentioned I didn't sell my first NFT for like 18 days after I posted it. And what happened during that time is I had to reflect on the work that I was posting and looking at, because I would look at my old work and I would say, I have the style for this market, but when I look at my old work, none of it feels like a piece that I should be minting. None of it feels like this is it, or this is me, or this is the one. And, what I realized looking back at it is even in my personal work, because I would post a lot of personal work, I would work on a lot of personal projects. A lot of what I was doing was posting those projects to attract potential clients. So some of my artistic voice, I would say, was held back because I was looking at my work through the lens of a potential client and not myself fully as an artist. So I had to transition and make that change. I started posting art like every single day, and it was almost like documenting my growth and taking back my ownership as an artist. And ever since I've made that switch mentally, it's been very difficult for me to make it back into client work. I still have clients that I'm working with because I have a good relationship with them, and I, would like to see them win, and I would like to see them grow, and I believe in their product or their work or their art themselves. But in terms of client acquisition, I would say I'm not accepting the same range of clients that I once was.
Okay. So your standards are different now.
Yes. Now I would say most of my client work, I would say I'm doing with like friends almost, like I said, clients that I have a genuine relationship with, or people that I really believe in their vision. If they're a new client and I really like what they have going on and I feel like I have something to support, I would still love to accept those projects.
So you have an exhibit coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow, and I think runs through Saturday.
Yes.
So tell us about the exhibit. This is your first virtual exhibit.
Yeah, so this is my first virtual exhibition show. It is part of Opulence's Harmony and Balance show, and they will be showcasing 5 artworks by 30 different artists. So there'll be 150 artworks shown in a fully functional VR gallery made by MetXR. And if you have a chance, if you go on my personal page, you'll see that I posted a video of me actually going through an example of their work. But, you'll be able to use a VR headset, a desktop computer, or your phone to kind of walk through this gallery of 30 different artists. And I just got a DM like 30 minutes ago that said I'm actually going to be a featured artist. So we will premiere art. But I will be showing five pieces that I've actually previously posted. One of them called Moonlit Ballerina comes with a side A and a side B, and one called Date Night comes with a side A and side B. And
when you say posted, you mean that you had posted them to social media? Right?
Yes, I posted online. I have not minted these pieces previously. But the 5th piece is actually a mystery piece. It's an animation, and this will actually be the first animation that I've released as an NFT. Well, maybe not technically an animation because the NFT is still a picture of a question mark, but you unlock an animation with it.
Gotcha. I'm gonna play that video actually.
Okay.
Our viewers. I love this video.
Some sight, some slight.
I love the grass, like the wind blowing in the grass. It's just so cool and clean.
Someone sent me or they left a comment, said the grass is really grassy. I don't know I think it was on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
This is the gallery. This is an example of what you'll be able to walk around in. It'll look a little bit different because I believe it's a different gallery.
Okay.
Oh, that's all they'll let us see on Instagram. Is my video not long enough?
I see that you got an Oculus headset and you've been playing around with the 3D sculpture. How has that been?
It is the word of the day, surreal. I don't know how I feel about it. It is the craziest thing I feel like I've ever experienced in my life. I have never known what it would feel like to actually like grab my art. And I feel like, you'll see me here. I grab it and I duplicate it. It is crazy. It is crazy. I have a few ideas of what I want to do in the future with this, like different projects and stuff that I want to make. I am still exploring. They have a lot of different 3D sculpting programs. They have a little bit different niches, each one of them. So I'm still exploring which one I like the best. This one is called Gravity Sketch. But you will be able to expect, some VR experiences and VR art from me soon.
Yeah. I love how this is like just bringing out so much creativity in you, and now you're exploring like whole new mediums. Like this is just really cool. I'm excited.
I feel empowered as an artist in a new way.
That's awesome. So this is a perfect segue into my next question, which is like, what do you think about the NFT world, and like where do you think it's going?
To the moon. that's what they'll say on Twitter if you ask. But I think this is it. Where we are right now is not even in the infancy stage. Like we are so new.
We're like in the womb.
Yes, exactly.
We're a fetus.
Yes, everything is still building up right now. You know what I mean?
This was like when Bitcoin was like, there was a time when Bitcoin was like $1, right? This was like when Bitcoin was like $10.
Yeah, exactly.
Still, now Bitcoin is what, like almost 60 grand?
Something outrageous.
Things are changing every day. Things are changing so fast, and you can't even get like up-to-date information by just going online.
You need to like be in the know. Like you need to like have the right people retweeting stuff on your platform. Like, everything changes so fast here. Everybody says a week in crypto art is like a month in real time, and it is so true.
I think it's even longer, actually.
Yeah, maybe like 3 months.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, everything moves so quickly. I was that time where I was saying I wasn't sure if I was going to put out another NFT after I sold like my first 3. And I had like $700 I've made from NFTs at that time. And I was like, I'm just going to, roll out with this until I finish my collection and stuff. I was offered a project, and it was sort of like a blank check project. And it was like, just give us your price and we'll make it work. And I was just like reflecting, because I was like, do I want to do this project? It feels like it would be like a pretty decent project for my career, and I could probably get a decent amount of money on it. But I was like, the work for it is going to be so much work. It's going to be so time consuming, and like mentally, I'd already been making that switch, and it was like, am I going to? I was like, am I going to risk like a potential 5-digit project over the next month, right? To focus on NFTs. And I think I made what I was going to make in a month on that project in a week. And
yeah,
I am kind of losing track of where the original question was. But
the question was like, where do you think the NFT world is going?
Oh, well, I think you're going to see a lot more people doing NFTs for that reason. And it's just because you're just far more empowered as an artist. I think that's what I was talking about. I was feeling empowered as an artist to make those types of decisions, like those types of gambles on myself.
Yeah. You don't feel stuck like you have to do work that you don't want to do.
Exactly.
That's really cool. You know, I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with in general, like having to do a job that you're not fully into or where there's other things you'd rather be doing. But I think out of everyone, I think artists have historically just like really struggled in that area. And then not just not being able to do the kind of art that you want to do because you need to make a living, but still not really making the living that you need to make while doing art that you're not fully invested in. So that's really cool. What advice do you have for people who are curious about NFTs but don't know where to start?
You need to give it 150%. Like 100% will not cut it. There are a lot of people who are jumping into this space and into this game, and you know, you need to, if you're going to be here and you want to really become, I'd say like just a full-time artist in this space, you need to dedicate more than a full works week worth of work to it every week, you know. I would say do your research, be open-minded. As an artist, be open-minded with your projects and where you can take them. I would say connect with the community and make sure that you are providing real value for people. That is important to community. And that's important to artists in general because we need to, you know, our value as artists is the value of our perspective. And you need to bring that value, you know, everywhere you go in this space.
Yeah. What would you say to those artists that have minted their first pieces and are not really getting sales?
I would say that you need to integrate into the community and you need to talk to more people and you need to study what is happening. And I think you need to remain open to creating new artworks. Still represent yourself in those artworks. I'm not saying change your art for anybody, but, you know, just because one piece doesn't sell, that doesn't devalue as an artist. Sometimes people just might not like that piece as much as they like your other pieces. And I would say, you know, don't give, it sounds corny, but don't give up. Like, and just like maintain, you know, faith in yourself. Like, you know, no one's going to ride for you like you are. So,
yeah. I know in one of our conversations the other day, you were talking about how your early pieces, you were still, there were good pieces, but you were still coming from like a, what would a client like mindset. Whereas now as you evolve, you are really kind of putting more of yourself into the artwork. Can you talk about how you made that switch?
A lot of time, a lot of like deep reflection. I would just stare at my screen and really just think, like, who am I? Like, what am I doing here? You know? Like,
so you went through an existential crisis.
A little bit, yes. You know, and I was just thinking, what's important to me? Like, you know, what do I appreciate in art? You know, I started making mood boards and just like documents of works that inspired me and just like really tapping into artists online that really inspired me too. So I was doing a lot of analyzing of what I appreciate in art. I was doing a lot of personal reflection to significant moments in my life. They're not even necessarily significant moments, but like strange memories that like never go away for some reason. Like I have this memory of like my cat running out of my room one day, and it's totally insignificant. It didn't go it didn't lead to anything. I didn't like walk into the kitchen that she ran into and there was like ketchup spilled on the floor or something like that. Like just like weird moments in time that I would just like remember oddly in the day, like I said before, these weird triggers that I would just receive, whether it be, a mailbox. And now I'm remembering, the mailbox that I first had when we moved to Atlanta, I would just sort of see where my mind would go with those places, and I would just put it in the art and see if I liked it. If I didn't like it, I would be forgiving with myself and I would take it out. Sometimes as artists, we're not very forgiving with ourselves creatively. We might spend an hour working on one part of a project, maybe even 2 days on one part of a project. And sometimes we'll try to make it work because our egos have told us we spent this time working on this piece. It needs to be here, and like I had to be forgiving with myself and my self-reflection to say, these things, even though I'm reflecting on them now, may not even be important. Like this piece and this artwork might not even be important if it doesn't fit where I'm feeling right now. So I had to be forgiving and take those things out of my work. I would also just say, like, for me as an artist, I use a lot of external reaction to gauge the perception of my pieces. For me as an artist, it's really important for me to connect to a wide audience. I know for some artists, it's just important for them to tell their story, but I feel like my mission as an artist is like creative reform almost. Like I want to help teach people how to be creative and live their life creatively and focus on creative problem solving. So I use a lot of external validation to understand if I'm being successful in my mission. And, I started to make the art that I felt like was more for me, more and more and more. And I was posting new pieces every single day. And it felt like every single day I was getting more and more people who were resonating with my work. I would say since that time when I started posting work every single day, and I've stopped since then, I've grown over 3,000 followers on Twitter alone. I think almost 450 on Clubhouse and almost another 1,000 on Instagram. And, for me, that let me know that I was doing the right thing and I was going down the right path because, my goal as an artist is to resonate with a large group of people, and a large group of people were resonating with my work. And, that aligned with the sales that I was making as an artist as well.
I love it. All great stuff. I think a lot of artists are going to really resonate with what you've shared today. And I know a lot of folks have their eyes on you. You've been kind of like a breakout star, basically.
Keep looking, please. I got so much more to share.
I know. I think folks are just like, I think folks have really high expectations of you. Rightfully so, and I think you're going to exceed those expectations over and over again. And I'm really honored to be able to work with you from that day when do you remember the day I messaged you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I said to myself, literally, when you text me, I've been waiting for this moment. Thank you. I said, someone finally did it. Someone finally decided to buy stock in me.
Yeah, that was really cool. And when I messaged you, I really had no large intention of working together. I was just like, I just wanted to say, hey, I think your art is really beautiful. That was it. And then I was also really curious about if you were making NFTs, and when you said that, you had kind of started, but you weren't really like going full steam, I was like, wait a minute, what?
Well, I really wanted to. I really wanted to.
Yeah, that was dope. And for the audience, Andre and I worked together. I've been helping him through this process, me and my team, and it's just been a really cool experience.
A very good, prosperous time for us.
Yeah,
we've been able to break a lot of ground.
Yes, definitely.
And be helpful to a lot more people than just us, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the beautiful thing about what we're building. You know, Black NFT art is really focused on helping the larger community of artists and collectors, anybody who wants to get into this space. And we have specific artists that we work with one-on-one. But I think as a group, we're almost kind of like in partnership with these artists, trying to help artists like you, Andre, working on helping to build the entire community and help everyone grow and rise and evolve and make money together. And that's been a really cool process.
Black wealth empowerment is definitely one of the goals here.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to get this bag. Well, it was really great to chat. Thanks for being my first guest on this podcast.
And I would love to come back whenever you want. I will share whatever is on my mind.
Yeah, we're gonna have you back as a regular guest. Really excited for what's to come. We've got some great interviews lined up. We've got some one-on-one interviews. We also have some roundtables with multiple people just sitting around chatting, talking. I think we're going to be able to bring a great collective of people together on this podcast to really highlight all the dope work that Black people in this space are doing. You know, I remember Snoop Dogg and the gang had went into a room on Clubhouse and they were like, "Where's all the Black people at?" You know?
Yeah.
And you know, some people's response, not necessarily in that room, but afterwards, was like, "We're here." It's not that we're not here, we're here, but it's not, we haven't done the best job of really showing the world that we're here. So I think a lot of folks, including us, are trying to do a better job of that.
Well, and I think that's what's important about Black NFT art and where you guys can really step in and create that space and platform just to amplify the artists to say that, yeah, we're here, like we're right here. And you can literally just look up Black NFT art and we're right there here.
We made it as plain and simple as possible.
If you want to support a Black NFT artist, just look up Black NFT art and, you know, I'm not going to say we're all there, but probably like, I don't know, some crazy high percentage.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Andre.
No, thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our podcast on YouTube and on iTunes and all the podcast platforms. Follow us on social media, Black NFT Art on Instagram and Twitter. Our website is blacknftart.co. We are building a media brand, full-fledged media brand, creating content across all platforms. We also have a clubhouse club called Black NFT Arts. Very easy to find. We do events weekly. We focus on helping onboard people into the space and helping to guide them towards other resources that are available to help them once they're kind of oriented a little bit. It's a safe space. Our rooms tend to be smaller and intimate, so people feel comfortable coming on stage and asking questions. And we're also, you know, in the process of building out a consulting creative agency. And that's really exciting as well, because there's, you know, some folks that are coming into this space who have larger resources and they want to get in, they want to contribute, they want to work with artists, they want to uplift artists, and they don't really know where to start. So we're gonna try and help them, and we're very excited. Thank you, Andre, and I'll talk to you soon on Telegram.
yeah. In 30 seconds.
30 seconds. All right. Bye.
All right.